All right, Grand Slam track Miami. We are now going to be talking about the men's and the women's hurdles, both the short and the long hurdles. I already did my full top 8 predictions for both the men's and the women's short sprints and long sprints, so check that video out if you haven't already. But with the hurdles, we have, I think, a few fields that are pretty complicated, not as deep though with some other fields, but let's dive into probably the easiest field, all due respect, but women's long hurdles. This is going to be another show for Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone to really, put her foot down and display her dominance in both the 400-meter hurdles and the 400. I think at this point, considering she was just opening up in Kingston, now it's going to be about the clock. I don't know how fast she's going to, be proving to run. She ran 52.7 seconds in Kingston, and she ran 50 seconds in the 400 in a very, very windy race. But I think here she has the capabilities of going sub 52. I don't know if she's going to do all that yet. It's only early May, but she could. Sydney would not surprise me, if she was to go sub 52 seconds here in Miami. In the 400 side, I think she's going to get under 50 seconds. Depending on the weather, depending on the wind, that will actually indicate, whether or not she's going to go 48 seconds, somewhat similar to like Saweed Nasser. I don't know about all that, but I think she's of course going to take the clear win here. But after that, Shamir Little, she's a racer, but she didn't get a chance to compete in Kingston. Here, she's going to be competing for the first time in Grand Slam track and in 2025. I think that she's going to get second place overall. She is by far the second best 400-meter runner in this entire field. She's run 49 seconds, right? So she's run at Diamond League races in the 400. I think she's, clearly the best here. We saw her what she did in Paris on the 4x4s. But in the 400 hurdles, I actually have her taking third place behind the person I have overall third place, who is Rochelle Clayton. Rochelle Clayton, obviously, she's a 2-time World Championship medalist in 2023 and then also in 2019 behind Sydney and Dalila that year. But I think she's going to take second place in the 400 hurdles, and then she'll be down the pack in 5th place in the 400. Her 400 isn't as strong as some of these other women, but her in the 400 hurdles, I think because Shamir Little is just opening up, I think Rochelle Clayton is going to be able to take the win over her there. So we'll see how that plays out. Behind them, Anjanette Knight, she actually did pretty well back in Kingston. That was at home in Jamaica. She does train in Arkansas, but I think she'll get 4th place here. Cheyenne Solomon, she also did pretty well down in Kingston in Grand Slam track, so I think she'll come up for 5th place position. Anna Hall, I have her in 6th place here, and I think just her 400-meter hurdle performances just aren't as strong relative to some of these other women. Yeah, she did finish 2nd place back in 2022 at the NCAA championships behind Britton Wilson, I think, that year, and she went to the Diamond League back in 2023 and ran the 400 hurdles, I think, at the Rome Diamond League, and she finished 4th or 3rd place in that race. So she is able to kind of mix things up, but just picking off of, she hasn't run it in 2 years at this point, and I just can't pick her to finish ahead of some of these other women. But in the 400, I actually do have her finishing 4th place because she is a multi-eventer, so I think she's going to be able to, bring the best out of her there. And then behind Anna Hall, I have Sarah Carley as well as Naomi Vanderbroek. I apologize for the pronunciation, but I have them kind of pulling up in 7th and 8th places overall in the long hurdles. Now, let's move over to the women's short hurdles, as this is probably the most competitive event that we'll see throughout the weekend relative to some other events. This is going to be a really, really big one. But I'll start off from the bottom. Maribel Vanessa Cesaido. Apologies again for the pronunciation, but I have her in last place getting 3 points. Now, this is tough because she actually is relatively consistent across the board. She was in the NCAA not too long ago. You're right. She has run, decently fast, but when I'm stacking her up against some of the other women, it's just hard for me to really push her up there. So I do have her in last place. Serena Samba Mayela, I have her in 7th place. She just hasn't opened up her season yet. She didn't start in Kingston last month because of, maybe some setbacks or whatever it may be. She's a racer here. So this is going to be her first, not only Grand Slam track for 2025, but also her first competition of 2025. So we'll see how that does play out. But because of that, I have her down the pack in 7th, specifically 7th in the hurdles, and then also 6th place in the 100-meter dash. But above her, I do have Alicia Johnson coming in with 7 points. Alicia Johnson, also kind of tough. She did run a 100-meter dash a couple weeks back. Not as strong. I think it was a little bit windy there, but I do have her getting 6th place overall in the 100-meter hurdles, and then I have her getting 5th place in the 100-meter dash. It's tough to kind of parse things out, but I do think Alicia Johnson is going to, be in the mix, but not really, really as deep as you might expect, considering she was an Olympic, finalist in the 100-meter hurdles. But just ahead of her, this is where I have Kenny Harrison. Now, Kenny Harrison is coming in as a challenger. She actually has the fastest personal best of any athlete in the field, 12.20 seconds, which was the former world record from back in 2016. But I have her getting 5th place in the 100 hurdles and then 3rd place in the 100. I think that 100, she is actually going to finish pretty high up. at the top of the season, she actually ran a personal best in the 100-meter dash, I think 11.2 seconds down in Arizona. Her and Jenna Prandini, they moved from Bobby Kersey and now train down in Arizona with the Altus group. But I think that Kenny, she's going to be able to get middle of the pack here. Again, I have her in 5th place. Just ahead of her, Jasmine Camacho-Quinn. I feel like I want to put her a little bit higher, but I think that actually the next couple women I actually have with similar points. But Jasmine with 13 points, I have her taking 2nd place overall in the 100-meter dash. Remember, in Kingston, she finished 3rd place behind Danielle Williams, Ackera Nugent. Then it was Jasmine Camacho-Quinn. In the hurdles, she was also kind of in the mix there, finished 3rd place overall, but I have her 4th place in the hurdles. And it's probably going to indicate who I have above her. Next, 3rd place overall in the standings, Masai Russell. Also with 13 points, I have her 2nd place in the 100-meter hurdles, but then I have her 4th place in the 100-meter dash. Now, the 100-meter hurdles is so hard to predict, but I think Masai Russell, though she lost to Grace Stark at the Tom Jones Memorial, she came back and won at the Drake Relays. Again, not as strong of competition, but I do think that Masai Russell is going to, really start to build things up as she kind of progresses through Grand Slam track, and I think that she's going to be able to get 2nd place here. 100-meter dash, though she did run at Texas Relays early in the year, I think, she'll still kind of finish middle of the pack here. But just ahead of both of Jasmine, Masai, also with 13 points, Tia Jones. Tia Jones just ran 12.4 seconds, which I think is a world lead in 2025 already. She also beat out the entire field in Kingston in the 100-meter hurdles, running 12.63, which was a pretty big gap ahead of the rest of the field, ahead of Danielle Williams, ahead of Jasmine Camacho-Quinn. So I think that Tia Jones is going to get the win here in Miami. And then I do have her getting all the way down in last place in that 100-meter dash. Similar in Kingston, she did not do well in that 100. She was really, really far back, running like 12 seconds. I don't even know. So Tia, 1st place in the 100 hurdles, last place in the 100-meter dash, but that's where overall Ackera Nugent, I think that she's going to be the Miami Slam winner. She's going to get the win in the 100-meter dash. Personal best is just significantly faster than everyone else. She also finished 2nd place at the Kingston Slam in the 100-meter dash behind Danielle Williams, running a relatively, strong time ahead of the rest of the field. So she's going to get the win here in my opinion. But then I have her 3rd place in the 100-meter hurdles. I think that she's still going to be progressing, getting her rhythm going as the season progresses. So behind Tia Jones, behind Masai Russell, that's where I have Ackera Nugent. So Ackera Nugent, Tia Jones, Masai Russell, Jasmine Camacho-Quinn taking those top 4 spots, but I could be wrong. Listen, prove me wrong. If you're an athlete, prove me wrong. Like, these are just my personal predictions. Also, if you're just watching, comment below. Let me know if you disagree, and if you disagree, give me your top 8, right? Don't just say, oh yeah, no, I disagree. Are you crazy for that? Nah, give me a top 8 if you really, really want to get into discussion. Also, if you're not already, Citius Mag, we are on the ground in Miami. So just like we did last time, we're going to have a pre-show. We're going to have post-race shows after every single day of Grand Slam track in Miami. Be sure to tune in. I'll have all the links in the description of the video. Let's get back to these predictions. Now, let's move over to the men's hurdles, where short hurdles first up. This also was pretty tricky, but from the bottom, I have Michael Obasuyi as well as William Bolosian. Both of them, apologies for the pronunciation, but both of them, I have them kind of pulling up with the bottom. Michael, I do have him getting last place in the 110-meter hurdles and also in the 100-meter dash. But William, I have him 7th place in the 110 hurdles, and then I have him 6th place in the 100-meter dash. Fortunately, I just think they're going to pull up the back of the pack here, but just ahead of them, I do have Freddie Crittenden. He's going to come in my 7th place in the 100-meter dash, but then up to 5th place when talking about the 110-meter hurdles. Now, Freddie, along with Daniel, who I actually have in 5th place overall here, both of them are coming over from China. They were both competing at the Xiamen Diamond League. Did, decently well, kind of middle of the pack there. Freddie did get the win over Daniel in that race, so that's why I have him ahead of Daniel in the 110 hurdles. But Daniel, I still think he has a slight edge over Freddie, considering what they did in Kingston when it comes to 100-meter dash, but complete toss up there. Just ahead of them though. In 4th place, this is where I have Jamal Britt, and people might actually sleep on Jamal Britt in terms of his speed. I have him taking 2nd place in the 100-meter dash. He's run 10.2 seconds this year. He actually ran 10.20 and he ran 10.25 seconds. So he has some consistency, both legal. So that's faster than a lot of guys when talking about the 110-meter hurdles here. I have him getting 2nd place in the 100, but then down the pack, I have him 4th place in the 110-meter hurdles. I think he's going to be able to hold on to maintain an overall 4th place finish. Also with 13 points, in 3rd place, this is where I have Dylan Beard. Dylan Beard, he won the 110-meter hurdles last month in Kingston, getting, kind of a upset win over the field, but I have him getting 2nd place overall here with a 4th place finish in the 100-meter dash, which I think was very similar to what he did, in the 100-meter dash last month in Kingston. So overall, that's going to equal out to 3rd place. 13 points, though it's equal with Jamal Britt, but because he's going to have slightly higher of a margin when it comes to the 110 hurdles over Jamal, that's where I think Dylan is going to take the edge. Now, my top two, Trey Cunningham, Sasha Zoya. Trey Cunningham, has the world lead in the 110 meter hurdles already. He actually won it at the Tom Jones Memorial. I think finished just ahead of Grant Holloway. So I have him getting 12 points here. He looks to be in great shape. He looks to be really focused. He missed the Olympic team last year. He doesn't want that to happen again, you know, when talking about the world championship team this year. So I have him taking the win here in Miami. But I do have him down in third place. Similar to Jamal Britt, Trey Cunningham has run 10.2 seconds. It wasn't fully legal, not because of the win, but because of the that track in Atlanta at the Adidas Atlanta City Games last year. None of those performances counted, despite, you know, being legal in terms of win, but the track was kind of wonky. But he does have those chops. He does have that capability. So Trey Cunningham, third place in the 100, behind Jamal Britt, and of course behind Sasha Zoya, who I do again have taking the overall win here. Just came off the $100,000 in Kingston. I have him taking another $100,000 here. He's going to get the win overall in the 100 meter dash. And then I have him third place in the 110 meter hurdles, but I think things will even out where he'll get the slight edge over Trey Cunningham, both with 18 points, because I think Sasha is going to have a wider margin and a bigger, you know, a faster time in the 100 meter dash than Trey will have in the 110 meter hurdles. So we'll see how that does kind of play out. But last one, men's long hurdles. Alisson Dos Santos, he is the favorite here. I did kind of feel like I wanted to put someone else to maybe challenge him a little bit, but I have Alisson Dos Santos taking the win, getting another 20 points here, win in the 400 hurdles, and actually have him second place in the 400, only behind Chris Robinson. Chris Robinson currently leads the world in the 400 meter dash, having run 44.1 seconds. So we saw what he almost beat out Alisson Dos Santos in Kingston. So I think based on what he did over the past 2 weeks, I think that he's going to be able to get the win here in the 400, though I do have him down in fourth place in the 4 hurdles. He did run 48 seconds, I think, last weekend. So, you know, hopefully that's going to, you know, translate into a strong performance. But overall, Alisson Dos Santos, Chris Robinson, third place, Caleb Dean. He's going to get second place in the 4 hurdles. I think the way he's spoken recently, it seems like he really is motivated to really step things up, to fix, you know, the things that he's been making in terms of mistakes. But I think that he's going to kind of finish down the pack in 6th place in the 400 meter dash. I just think some of the other guys are a lot stronger and are just really going to show their chops when talking about the flat 400. Yes, he does have speed and all that, but when I really kind of broke things down, I think he's not going to be able to finish up there. But 4th place overall, Rashawn Clark. This was kind of tough because I feel like Rashawn Clark, he's someone who's a sleeper. He can low-key finish second place. He could win, you know, something, but who knows? I think that, though, I have him in 4th place, actually tied with Caleb Dean. The only reason I have Caleb Dean overall ahead of Rashawn Clark is because I think Caleb will get a slight edge in the 400 meter hurdles. Rashawn Clark, I have him 3rd place in the 400 because, you know, relative to the field, he actually has the 3rd best 400 meter personal best. Chris Robinson, Alisson Dos Santos, Rashawn Clark, 44 earlier this year. So we'll see him. I have him in 4th. Trevor Bassett, 5th place, coming in as a challenger. He got a new Adidas deal. He opened up his season. He's looking like he's in some great form overall, relatively. I think he did run 48 seconds this year already in the 4 hurdles. And we've seen him run 4x4s, whether it's at the World Championships in Eugene, whether it's at the World Indoor Championships, right, in 2024. So he has, and he got the silver medal at the World Indoor Champs in the 400, just behind Dream Richards in 2022. So Trevor Bassett, 5th place in the 400 meter hurdles, and then 4th place in the 400 meter dash. Then coming up at the bottom, I have Malik James King, Khalifa Rosser, and Ludwig Villiant. Apologize for the pronunciation. Those are going to be my 6th, 7th, and 8th place finishes here. Shout out to all of them, especially someone like Khalifa Rosser. You know, he's been able to, back in 2022, had an amazing season. Hopefully he's able to kind of make a comeback. Great to see him in Grand Slam track here. Also, Malik James King, his 2024 was really, really good. He was really showing himself at some Diamond League races. So, I don't know. We'll see. But those are my predictions. All top 8 for the women's and the men's short hurdles, long hurdles. Again, this is not easy. I'm sitting here picking apart these athletes, their seasons, what they've done since Kingston, what they've done. Like, I'm picking apart all those. So feel free to criticize me, but go in the comments. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree, and if you think these should be different. Give me your top 8. I would love, love, love to see y'all give me a top 8. If not, no worries. Just comment it below. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Always, always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.